And we are live with Giulia
Hi.
for People and Planets. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to begin. Okay, Giulia, when is your birthday?
17th of May 2002.
Okay, what time?
10:05 a.m.
Okay, and where?
Masafra.
How do
M
you spell
A
that?
M A S S A F R A.
Italy.
Yeah.
Uh, where is Masafra?
In Apulia.
Okay, so in the south.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. 29 degrees Cancer rising.
Yep.
Okay. So, Julia, I pretty much always start with the same question, which is like, what's happening with your life lately?
Right now, I feel a little bit of nervousness, a little bit of pressure in terms of career. There are many paths, there are many choices to make, and it feels a little bit overwhelming. And other than that, yeah, I feel this pressure of me needing to take action, like moving my ass a little. And yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of how I'm doing in this specific moment. I also lost my job this week, but I got other proposals and other opportunities, so it's a big time for a change.
Okay. Um, okay, so there's several things that intrigue me. First of all, you said that now there's many choices to make, many paths.
hmm
So why now?
Because with my job, even though it was like a part-time job, I felt a sense of security and a sense of direction. So when I get noticed that I was going to lose my job, which wasn't even related to my performance. It was for external problems. Um, I felt like, okay, there are too many things I want to do. Where do I put my hands?
Hmm. What were you doing for work?
Community manager
Okay. Hmm. What kind of community?
for an astrologer.
Ah, okay. Interesting. Like a big time or a small time astrologer?
She has around 12K on threads.
Okay. And community manager, like where?
On threads.
On Threads.
Yeah.
There's a community on Threads.
Yeah. It was more social media management, but the contract was about community management.
Okay.
So post scheduling, replying to comments, and putting CDAs at the end of the post, choosing the right words, and etc. etc. At the beginning, it was more mixed. Like it was also about strategy, but then I was like, no, I signed a contract for different things, so I put a boundary, and yeah, it changed into social media management.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, and you lost your job this week.
What?
You
Sorry.
lost your job this week.
Yeah, this week she told me that she sent me an email because it wasn't for the job itself. She told me more times that she was so sorry she had to let me go. It was more because of personal issues about her life and she couldn't afford me anymore.
Oh, okay. Okay. And you were doing that for how long?
For 5 months, around 5 months. I started in January, so no, it's not 5, it's 4 months.
Okay, so not too long.
No,
Okay.
but I
Okay.
worked on social media before on my own, so I've been on social media for quite a while.
What do you mean you worked on it before on your own?
I sold my products, my digital products.
Okay,
So
you had digital products.
yeah,
Uh, what kind of?
spiritual. I've been in the spiritual community for a few years.
Okay. Okay. hmm
Why are
Uh,
you laughing?
well, no, because when things start to come together for me, it's kind of amusing. Um,
Okay.
Spiritual digital products, like something that you've written
Yeah.
about astrology or about similar
Human design,
subjects.
but also astrology and
Okay.
mystical in general. I don't know, metaphysics maybe. I would say.
Okay. So for me, um, so far, because we haven't gotten that far, what I'm feeling very much is your Gemini stellium in the 11th. Right, obviously because you were a community manager, and what did you say you were doing? You were post-scheduling Gemini, you were doing the CTAs Gemini, you're doing the strategy which you decided not to do, and you're replying to comments Gemini, 11th. Right, and that you have to do that for someone else, and so you don't really get to post whatever you want, and you have to set some boundaries. There, I feel your Mercury-Saturn conjunction, especially in the 11th Gemini,
Yeah, makes sense.
right? And the other part where you said that you've had some digital products and they were specifically spiritual digital products. There I start to feel your Mercury Neptune trine from the 11th house to the 7th Aquarius. Right, so there's all that air there. I start to feel the digital products and specifically the there on spiritual subjects, and that you said you've been a part of the spiritual community for a few years now. I don't know what that means to you yet, but in all of that, I'm feeling the Mercury Neptune.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's cool.
Okay, very good. Great. Um, Okay, and you said that you've just left this week. Okay, so what that makes me think about, of course, is that the transiting sun, you can see at 18 degrees of Aries, has just entered your 10th house this week.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's making aspect to many of your planets. I guess, okay, let's say that you got fired when did you get fired? Sunday, Monday?
No, I don't remember the day. I can check if you want. I
And
can
that's
check
okay,
the
but it
mail.
was recent, or?
Yeah, yeah, it was very recent. It was this week for sure. Like, or the end of the last week, around Saturday.
Okay. So look at what's happening on Saturday. Okay. Transiting sun is on your midheaven.
Mm.
Okay. And what else is the sun doing? I'm going to show you. Okay. The sun is applying an exact sextile to your Saturn in the 11th. So think about the reasoning that she gave you. She can't afford you anymore. She has personal issues, right? So you can't be the community manager anymore. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, it
Okay.
makes.
It makes sense. Okay, good.
Yeah, I
Okay.
didn't see that the sun was sextile my Saturn, and that's interesting.
Right. So that would not be only about that situation, but other things that have happened over the weekend as well. If you want, we can think about that for a moment.
I like had a huge fight with my sister last week. A huge
Okay.
fight during the new moon. No, no new moon, the full moon. I
The
had a
full
huge fight.
moon. Well, look, the full moon.
No, it was crazy because my fourth house, you can see it.
Exactly. But it also look the aspect your Saturn, the full moon. Okay, so
Yeah, it was
what was the
fucking
fight
crazy.
about?
It was about I we basically fought over the fact that we both ignored each other at one point, and we were scared of each other's reaction when it came to be upfront and talk about our feelings. So I also like told her all the things that I didn't like about her behavior, things that I tuned down for years to keep the peace, because in my family it's always been about don't make your sister angry. It's always been the focus. So I basically let everything out, and it led to a huge fight. And we solved the conflict on like Sunday.
Hmm. Okay. What does it mean? Okay, I'm gonna get there. Okay, let's just do this one step at a time. Otherwise, I get lost. Um,
Okay.
okay, there's a few things I want to point out. Where do I want to start? Let's just start with the stellium again. When it's about your siblings, sometimes it doesn't have to be the third house. Sometimes it's just Gemini.
Oh, okay.
And in your case, you can see it two ways, right? So let's just do Mars and Venus by themselves first. In this case, Venus and Gemini would be your sister, and Mars would be that she's getting angry frequently. I don't know what that situation is yet, but I feel that here because Venus and Mars are also co-present with your Mercury-Saturn conjunction, right? So the Mercury-Saturn for me is like, don't make your sister angry, right? Be very careful with your sister, right? So you don't get to talk to her what you have said to us just now.
Yeah.
Right? So now I feel your Mercury Saturn in Gemini. There's years and years and years you went without talking to your sister and not expressing each other, yourselves to each other. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah, it was like a sitcom, you know? Like we hang out with each other, but we were never honest, because or at least I wasn't honest, because I had to keep this facade of everything's good. And yeah.
Okay. Um, okay,
But also because sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
go ahead, go ahead.
Uh my sister, I don't know if it's relevant, but my sister has Saturn in the third house
Hmm.
and an eighth house Gemini. So every time I speak my mind and I'm true about it, she kind of get triggered a lot.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, so that's interesting. So notice your sister has Saturn in the third. You have Mercury conjunct Saturn in Gemini. So clearly both of you have that strongly expressed in your charts. So there's something going on around the sisters. And
Mm,
again, that you're not able to talk with her normally. Your Mercury is conjunct Saturn, right? So a constant theme in Gemini. Does that make sense when you say it that way?
yeah, it's uh, why you said it sounds like I have to constantly bite my tongue, and that resonates. Yeah.
Okay. And you can see that the full moon, if we go back to Thursday, right? The full moon is on your Imam Coeli,
Mm-hmm.
right, in Libra, which is about your family relationships and getting along. And it's you can see that the full moon is making a trine and a sextile to your Mercury Saturn,
Fuck.
a very close
Yeah.
one, right? And then you said that it took you until Sunday to resolve. So look at what happens with the sun up until Sunday, right? So the sun is applying because look, sun is at 12, your Saturn is at 15, right? And by Sunday, the sextile perfects between the sun and Saturn. So that's when you resolve the issue, right? So you can imagine those days you were working on that conflict with her,
Mm.
and that was under spotlight. right? And there's a big change suddenly. That's the Aries component of it, that you're finally showing your anger. Like you're just being
Yeah.
spontaneous and letting it all come out. That's the Aries energy. Whereas the Saturn in Gemini in this case is the long-standing absence of communication between the two of you.
Yeah, I
And
resonate
I
a
would
lot
say
with.
that this is also coming especially because Saturn has entered Aries, right? So there is the new focus for everybody in the collective to be more free and speak their minds.
Yeah, I'm seeing so many hate comments, even on social media lately. Like they increased so much.
There's two more things I want to point out.
Go ahead.
One of them is that you had also said that you feel these days that you have to get moving. There's something you need to do your asses on fire a little bit. Like you
Mm-hmm.
feel like you have to take action, right? So there again is the Saturn in Aries. And especially that the Sun is conjunct Saturn in Aries at this time, right? Emphasizes that energy during this month. And the fact that with you, it's specifically about making a choice for your work, right? You got fired, and at the same time, there's many paths open to you, and you're not sure exactly which one to take. So it's a little bit overwhelming. That's the things you told me at the beginning, right? So there is the Sun conjunct Saturn in Aries right now on your midheaven, right? For you specifically, the confusion's about work at the moment, and you got fired just now, right? So there's the Sun Saturn on your 10th. Okay,
Yeah.
does that all make sense so far? And then I have just one more thing, and then you can
Yeah,
have the
yeah,
stage
yeah.
again. Okay, good. The last thing I want to point out to you is that Jupiter is transiting your 12th house. Obviously, you're having your Jupiter return and your Jupiter moon conjunction, right? This, for me, is also why this is the period during which you and your sister are having this very healing moment with each other, right? Because of the Jupiter energy to your moon and Jupiter.
Hmm. Okay.
Does that all make sense?
Yeah. Why are you connecting Jupiter to my sister, though? I'm curious.
Okay. You have gone your whole lives not talking to each other,
No,
right?
we talk to each other, but not in a deep way or in an honest way. Like,
Right. And Jupiter represents expansion, right?
mm-hmm.
Right. So that's an opening. So that is when you feel something is coming that wasn't there before, and it's great. Like it's something so wow, kind of.
Okay.
Okay. That is why. Because to have that kind of deep, intimate conversation with your sister, who is your family, all Cancer, right? Think about it, it's in the 12th house. You said that you went most of your life wearing a mask with each other,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
never really being honest, so kind of hiding yourself, right? That's the 12th house. And now there's suddenly like this big awakening with her, right? So you can see you're in your exact Jupiter return at the moment, right? So there's the family healing.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. You can probably see it in many more ways, right? Because Jupiter's been in Cancer for months.
Yeah, it's been intense.
Um, okay, so is everything we're doing so far, does it all make sense to you?
Yeah,
Okay,
it
good.
does.
Okay, great. Okay, so you and your sister are doing better now, would you say?
Yeah, we solved the conflict.
Okay. And so what now?
Now, basically during the conflict, she told me that she didn't feel safe in showing interest towards me because uh, I can come off as arrogant sometimes, or like she says that she feels I feel superior than her when the truth is that it's more of the contrary. Like I always had inferiority complex towards my sister. So yeah.
Hmm. So you basically opened up with each other about all of this stuff that you were hiding from each other. That
Yeah,
she felt like this and you felt like that and blah blah blah. Is that right?
true. Hmm. All the things that I think we're actually influenced by how our parents treated us and the family in general. So uh, all the things that influenced our perception of each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Okay. Uh-huh. So, that tells me that first of all, you've grown quite a bit beyond that, and you have understood those patterns. So what I hear is that your intellect is has also expanded in terms of understanding the family situation and being able to organize it better as an adult. Is that right?
Yeah, I worked a lot during the last few years on understanding and spotting the patterns in my family and the narratives I acquired from other people.
Okay. I'm feeling your Jupiter return in Cancer here as well.
Mm.
Um, when you can be above something and see it from a higher perspective and already make sense of it, that's Jupiter.
I think it's also Uranus. I don't know why. It's the
Okay,
Aquarius energy. I don't know. Because
okay.
I feel it's like, even though I'm a Taurus, I have Taurus square Uranus in Aquarius. And I feel a lot the presence of the Aquarius energy within me, even though I'm not Aquarius.
Okay, yeah, that makes me think how you're currently in your Uranus square, exact. And Uranus is conjunct your sun.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go there for a bit. So, you said that now you have many career paths open. So, like, which paths are you considering?
At this moment, I've been called for an interview always as a social media manager, but more on the strategic side of the social media management. And then I want to start and sell my stuff again and focus on that primarily.
Hmm. Okay. So, but you have an interview coming up.
Yeah, this
When?
week.
This week. So, like, in the next couple days.
She wrote me this week. We still need to decide a day, but yeah, this week.
Okay.
And the
Hmm.
pay per hour is double the one I had before. So yeah.
Okay, so for you financially, it's good.
Yeah, it's way better as a part-time job than the other one.
Okay, but you would still be doing community management.
Now, social media management is more creative. It's more about creating content and
Uh-huh.
working
Okay.
on the brand.
Uh-huh. Okay. So you would be creating content for someone else.
Yeah, I'll help her convey better her knowledge because she's like very experienced. She's a vocal coach who work with important actors, but she's very good with social media, so it's more about helping her convey her knowledge better on social media.
Uh-huh. Okay. And so you're taking the information that she gives you and you're structuring it into posts or what?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's more about this kind of creative aspect of social
Mm-hmm.
media.
But in that case, you don't really have the creative control again, right? Because you're trying to fit to understand her industry and then right
Her
communicate well.
Yeah, but her industry is a little bit of my industry too because she's a vocal coach and I was a singer. So,
Uh-huh. Hmm. You were a singer. Do you still sing?
yes, sometimes more than singing, I said singer to because it's the immediate connection, but I was more of a rapper, a rapper and R&B singer. So still coherent, but yeah, it's fun for me to work with a vocal coach.
Okay. So, do you see that in your Gemini stellium as well?
Yeah,
Yeah, right?
yeah.
Because you're working with a vocal coach, right? And you're also a singer. That's Gemini. Because it's sound, air.
But I see it also in the opposition with Sagittarius and Pluto in Sagittarius because I work with
Mm-hmm.
multiple people actually, and I help them convey their experience in something that is understandable by masses. So I always saw the connection between the opposition with Pluto. You tell
Mm-hmm.
me if you see it too.
Well, what I hear most of all is your Mercury-Saturn conjunction, because you make information available, right? You make it simple, Mercury-Saturn, and you make it for the masses, the 11th house. Right, so for me, I didn't hear the Pluto opposition yet. I'm sure it's there. How
Yeah.
do you see it? What do you see about Pluto?
Because Pluto is more about the authority, I feel like. So Pluto is the authority, it's also the dark side of authority. So this is one manifestation I feel of Pluto, but it manifested in way darker ways than this one. So it depends on how you see it, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Pluto in the fifth house is making me think about Medusa.
Mm. I also have the Sun conjunct with Algol.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Is that why you named yourself
Yeah.
Medusa?
No, I mean I had also visions about Medusa actually. Um, I've always drawn Medusa, drew or drawn, I don't remember in English how it's said, but yeah, I have my room full of drawings of Medusa, and I didn't realize it was Medusa just until after. So it's always been like a subconscious impulse, and I had visions of her, and it's a very present entity. I don't know if I believe in gods, but at least when it comes to psyche and archetype, she's a very present archetype.
And why? What about Medusa speaks to you?
I think that in a past life I went through abuse, or in a past life, or in this life, and I have no memory about it, which is something that is possible. So, and she's the symbol uh, of resurrecting after sexual abuse.
Hmm. Because the man looks at her and he turns to stone. Because usually when a man looks at you, it's like
No,
that desire.
also
Huh?
that. Oh, no, also not that desire, but when I was at school, like middle school, people bullied me because my eyes were too big, and they were afraid to look me in the eyes.
Your eyes were too big.
Yeah, because my glasses magnify the eyes.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I got bullied for that. And the myth of Medusa, actually, Medusa is raped by Poseidon, and then Athena transforms Medusa into a monster.
Uh-huh. Okay. You were bullied in middle school for your glasses. Just that?
Yeah, but also because I've always been the shy kid. I was a little bit weird in that sense because I a little bit also socially awkward and stuff. Was bullied in middle school, and then in high school I wasn't bullied, but uh, I wasn't the popular kid.
Okay. So being at school was kind of like uncomfortable for you or what?
No, I fucking hate it. Like it's hell for me. Also because I think I have ADHD. And like as soon as I sat at school, my mind went blank. Like I didn't connect my brain anymore because uh, it was overwhelming to just sit down, and I don't know, it was hell. But I was still good at school. I was one of the best in my class. It wasn't for me.
Okay. Um, well, that's of course making me think about your Moon Saturn conjunction. Actually, I still don't feel the Pluto just yet with the trine to Neptune.
Okay.
Right, Mercury, Saturn, Gemini. Gemini being schooling and also getting along with your peers at school. And you said that you go and your brain turns off and like school is just not for you and you're just feeling overwhelmed. Right, so all of that confusion for me. Mercury, Neptune, Saturn,
Okay.
Gemini. Okay. The other part as well, where you said that nevertheless you were quite good at school.
Yeah.
So that makes me think also again about the Mercury Saturn Gemini, right? Somebody who works hard at learning.
No, I
Who
didn't
maybe
work
tries to read.
hard actually. I was just good. It took me like 1 hour to study 40 pages. I was just quick, and but I still couldn't concentrate that much when I was in school. Like my teachers knew that I wasn't tuned in with my brain when I was at school, but I was still good, however. So they knew that I functioned in a different way. But I faced different injustices also at school because even though I was one of the best in my class, I still had people that were less good than me obtaining a higher mark at the end of the 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so what? Like why do you feel that's unjust? Is it like the school is discriminating against you?
Because basically that year there was COVID in the last 2 years of school. For me there was COVID, and we had school online, and I was the only one studying while all my other peers were reading the book on the display of the computer. So at the final exam, I still got to obtain a ranking that wasn't the best of my class. It was like 94 out of 100, which in Italy is still good. But I saw many peers of mine that study all the 2 years. Like they didn't study every time they had an oral exam. They read from the computer, so they were just reading and still got 96 out of 100, 98 out of 100, and so on. I
Okay.
hope it's
Mm-hmm.
clear. I hope it's clear. I know
It's
it's all.
clear. It's clear. Well, do you see the Mercury, Saturn, Neptune again? Especially the Mercury, Saturn in this case?
How
Because you're
so?
being denied like a higher grade despite the fact that you've earned it and other people who didn't and who weren't studying as much as you, right? Because you said you were reading and they didn't, right? But they got higher marks.
Yeah.
So just the sense of being held back and also
Yeah, a
being
lot.
shy and not being able to easily communicate with them also, right? So all of those, Mercury, Saturn, Gemini, 11th house. And the Neptune part for me here, one place that I heard it very clearly is that you experienced COVID and therefore the schooling switched to online and all of the things that happen when you switch to online schooling. There I feel the Mercury Neptune, right? Because then you don't start to have just like normal homework and normal schooling. People start to use ChatGPT and to yeah, do everything on the computer and blah, blah. So there I feel the Mercury Neptune especially.
Yeah, there wasn't ChatGPT at the time, but they just downloaded all the books. So whenever there was an oral exam, they just read the books.
Mm-hmm. I get it. And you
Well,
were
I
actually studying instead of,
yeah,
uh-huh.
yeah. I
Okay.
I gotta be sincere. The only subject I wasn't studying was French because French I was reading the book, but all the other I wasn't. While all the people in my class, no one excluded because they even talked about it in the chat group, where just reading the books from the computer.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and did you try to stop them in the chat group? Were you
No,
frustrated?
I never wrote in the chat group, but I was frustrated a little. Yeah,
You never
like
wrote.
there was a girl in my class. One time we were friends. So one time she didn't know anything about law because I studied administration, finance, and marketing, and there was law as a subject. Um, she didn't study anything, and I remember she put uh, the um, the air cuffs, and I told her everything about the lesson. So she she cheated. We cheated because I helped her too, and she got out with 100 out of 100.
Uh-huh. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, even for the fact that you didn't comment in the group chat, even though you were having this experience with them and they're doing something that you don't like and you feel like you're doing all the work and they don't anymore. Right, so when you're observing the group chat, that is what I would feel, I guess, again and again. But you don't see you keep yourself from. By the way, I see that very similar as the pattern with your sister. Maybe they're not connected, but again, it's like holding back from saying what you really think.
Yeah, but can I say something? Like
Yeah,
I
definitely.
I couldn't care less about what were they doing at the time. I cared when they had a higher rank than me
Okay.
in
Mm-hmm.
the end.
Okay. Okay, so schooling was like a subject for you.
What?
Schooling was a subject for you.
What do you mean?
I don't know. It's just we went to the school and there's so much happening in Gemini for you. And I hear I like the stories you're telling me.
Yeah,
Mhm.
also, it burned my ass too because at the time I was going through so much, like on a mental health level. I really struggled at the time. So I had to put even more effort into studying when I didn't have the energy for it. Like uh in fourth grade, I wanted to quit actually. I wanted to quit school.
Mhm. More effort into study. Okay. Yep. Okay, so that's all Mercury, Saturn, everything.
Okay. I'm a Mercury Saturn person, basically.
Well, just, um, yeah, putting more effort into study, wanting to quit school in the fourth grade. It was just too hard for you, going through a lot in school. Also, that your Mercury's retrograde conjunct Saturn. So there's a
Yeah,
lot
I
around
was
that Mercury.
yeah, but I was going through a lot out of school. And then
Like what?
um if you want to check it out, I was going to ask you because I wanted your opinion on the transits during that day. I was curious. On the 17th December 2019, I ran away from home because my father was abusive. So, um yeah, and it affected my mental health a lot.
Abusive in what way?
Physical, psychological, and emotional.
Okay. Like so constantly tormenting you or what?
The day I ran, basically he beat me because I didn't throw the cover of the protein bars. I forgot.
He bit you.
Yeah, your face.
Well, it's just, I mean, biting is so unusual. Okay.
No, no, but in the sense of biting.
Oh, he hit
He,
hit you.
yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Mhm. Okay. And you never went back home after that, is it?
No, I lived alone with him at the time, and from that point on, I went no contact.
Interesting. You lived with him at that
Yeah,
point. So where did you go instead?
to my mother's, but I didn't have a connection with her at the time.
Uh-huh. Okay. That's very where did your mother live?
Uh, it was near, not quite the same city. But it was a close town.
Uh-huh. Okay. Um, why didn't you have a connection with her?
We like on the surface we had it, but at the same time, since I was young, my father brainwashed me into believing that my mother and my sister didn't love me. They just wanted me for the alimony. So every interaction I had with them was controlled by him.
Okay. Uh, so help me understand. You live with your father from when you were little, is that right?
No, I lived both with my father and mother since I was little. I switched between one parent and another, but um, whenever I was with my father still told me how to behave and what to tell my mother, and he told me also when to fight with my mother for no reason too. Like I was really dependent on him and what he told me to do. So I didn't have a real connection with my mother. And at 17, I started living alone with my father. It lasted around 3 months because he became more abusive towards me. And yeah, on the 17th December 2019, I ran away from home. And my mother at first was even a little bit skeptical on having me at her house.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And were you and your sister not going together, moving between houses?
No, no,
No.
no, my sister was with my mother.
What? Is your sister older?
Yeah, she is 12
How
years
much
older.
older? 12.
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite some. Okay.
You look perplexed. If you want, you can ask questions to understand better because
Well,
it's
I
a weird
will.
situation.
Right,
So
it
I
is. Okay,
understand
so
that.
you were moving back and forth between your mother's and your father's.
Yeah.
And you were doing that what, like once a week?
It was like one day in one house, the other day in the other house until my I got older because when I got older I was with my father's most of the time, and at 17 I definitely moved with my father for 3 to 4 months
Why? Why with him?
because he
And
told
why
me
not go
to.
into your mom's? Why not go to your mom's anymore? Why did you stop going there?
Because he continuously told me, you need to help me, you need to help me, because his goal was not to pay alimony for my mother anymore. So he told me that I had to live with him, and I did it.
Okay, so that he doesn't have to pay alimony because you're going there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot around the alimony.
Yeah, but since I was little, actually, even when I was 6 years old, he told me, you need to help me, and you need to help me, and he brought up the alimony topic a lot.
And the alimony is what your mother gets from him financially because
Yeah.
you have to go there. It's kind of like child support. Is that what
Yeah,
alimony
yeah,
is?
exactly. Child child support.
I see. Okay. And so from 17, he didn't want to pay child support anymore. So he said, you're gonna stay with me now.
Yeah.
Okay. Before that, you were moving between the two houses.
Yeah, actually, he wanted me to live with him since I was more little than that, but it was a man that talked a lot and took zero action. So he just told me, "You need to help me. You need to help me. You need to help me." And the thing is that he like made 10 times what my mother made. So it never made actual sense or logical sense. It was more of a, I don't know. To these days, I don't understand the man, so I cannot really find explanation.
Okay. Um, and of course, when it's about the child support, it's about social services, I guess, like government involvement or whatever.
No, we did involve the government. They like agreed without the government being involved.
But it's a legal contract, or
Yeah, uh, if you want it to be legal, it's legal. Otherwise, they decide between themselves. If they took the government into it, the child support would have been way higher than the one we received.
I see. Okay, that's making me think a lot about Uranus in your eighth house, but I don't have the picture clear just yet. And that's why I'm trying to understand. So is it from the government? How is it exactly? But of course, a person's life is so vast. Once we get into your story, it's like there's so much to talk about and to learn about. But what stands out to me, especially, so what I'm getting is that for the better part of your early life, you were literally changing houses every day. That is what I heard.
Yeah, for most of my childhood, yeah.
That is so interesting. That tells me also about your ADHD and your inability to focus at school. There's no stability at home, so your mind is always kind of on alert.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And your father was, so I guess your father was very difficult to talk with.
Now impossible. It was now the people who know him, like my close circle, we call him the dictator, the dictator.
The dictator.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. So now I brought in your North Node because I just felt like it's important now. The North Node conjunct your Saturn and Mercury.
Mm.
And that your father is impossible to speak with. There I feel the Mercury Saturn, right? That he's the dictator. So you can only imagine, I can imagine, when you're around him and it's so heavy and you have to sit there and take it and you have to listen to it and you have to talk to him and answer to him
You have to
and come up with the
obey. You
response
have
that
to
he wants.
obey.
Obey. Okay.
Obey.
So
But
there,
it's not with me. It's with like it's very dictatorial with every person. He just with strangers he shows a facade that he is amazing, and but people around them, like people that knew the real him, know how it is, and it's not a person you can have around.
okay, interesting. It also makes me think about the Sun conjunct Algol.
Mm.
Like
Yeah,
somehow his presence, that he has this dark presence.
yeah, like um my sister and I actually started to create a connection just when I ran away from his home. And we are the only ones who actually experienced a specific side of him. And we talked about how he's like possessed by a demon when he's witched. So he's like, yeah, it's like possessed. there's, I don't know, like Split, the movie. Have you ever watched the movie?
Mm-mm.
It's like Split.
Okay. Right, so Gemini.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but Gemini on steroids. Very like,
Well, you have a stellium in Gemini, right? With both malefics there,
yeah.
right? So Mars and Saturn, I also hear because he was telling you what to do and what to say and when to talk and how to talk, right? That's the
Super
Mars Saturn
fucking
energy.
controlling. Yeah. It makes
Yeah.
sense.
And especially in Gemini, right? Because he's telling you when to fight with your mom. He's sending you messages, right? He's controlling you constantly through his communication by talking to you.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay,
A hundred
good.
percent.
Yeah. If you look at the, because you asked me about the transits for the day you ran away, there's a few things that stand out to me. And what I want to especially point out to you is that, so notice that the transiting sun was at 26 Capricorn. The transiting north node was at 26 Cancer. And the transiting moon was approaching a lunar eclipse, exactly conjunct your natal moon
Okay.
in the 12th house, right? So, and this you have to understand in the context of Pluto, because the lunar eclipse was opposite Pluto. And Pluto was at 21 degrees Capricorn, approaching an opposition to your moon, which would have perfected over the next year or two. And during that period, as you said, is when you began to reconnect with your sister and also with your mother, right? So there's
Yeah.
the Pluto opposition to the moon, having that big running away from home and moving towards your mom and sister and starting to rebuild with them.
Yeah.
And
Sorry
also
to
discover yourself, inevitably.
exactly, exactly. I was going to say that because I had no control over my personality. Like I couldn't have an identity. I remember one night I sat down and I thought, "Damn, I don't even like ketchup. He liked ketchup, and I had to like ketchup." You know, the stupidest thing. That was the level of control he had. So after that day, I really had to build myself up again and understand who I am and who I am not.
Interesting. Yeah, the lunar eclipse on your ascendant.
Fuck. Okay.
It also makes me wonder about your progressions at that time, honestly. Hmm. Okay. Your progressed Venus conjunct progressed Jupiter in Cancer.
How do you interpret that?
Um, well, Venus for me is like your, let's say Venus in Cancer is your family relationships with your mom and your sister.
Okay.
And the Jupiter part of it is like, okay, now we start to actually develop a relationship to each other and free ourselves from that horrible man and like actually have a lineal healing, like actually go deep together. That for me also, because it's Venus and Jupiter in Cancer and the 12th house, could have been very well a very big part of your spiritual journey that year, 2019, 2020, connecting
Mm.
with a lot of different
Yeah.
modalities.
Yeah. Also because the year my dad got cancer too. And it was all that year. All that year was crazy.
Hmm. Yeah, interesting. That makes me think about where you're at now. You're actually in a very, very, very interesting period of your life, Julia. For a couple reasons. Now, just looking at the progressions, what I want to point out to you is your progressed moon is now at 10 degrees of Gemini.
Mm.
So you're about to have a progressed solar eclipse, right? Because you can see the sun is at 19 and the north node is at 17. So in 9 months, when the moon conjoins the sun, that's going to be a progressed solar eclipse conjunct Saturn in Gemini. Like, wow, wow, what
Yeah.
a big energy.
Right now, while you were saying it, I was like, wow, too. It's like, oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, this is like, whoa! And at the same time, progressed Venus is conjunct your moon. That intrigues me as well. That makes me think about how just now you've had a big healing moment with your sister, right? Progressed Venus to the moon in Cancer. And it all stems back to what had happened to you before, and just now you're having the chance to connect and heal, finally.
True that. True that.
Okay, good. All right.
That's
So,
crazy.
huh?
That's crazy.
Okay. Let's just ask one more question. When we look at this progressed solar eclipse, does anything come up for you? Like, do you notice it already in something that you're thinking about, something that you're planning on doing, something that's coming up in the next months?
I felt like a switch in the last couple of weeks. Like I don't know, maybe it's all the planets transiting in areas. I don't know, but I felt a complete switch of okay, it's time to start again. And I don't know, I feel like something is gonna change drastically in the next few months, if not weeks. I got this feeling that there's something cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Most of all when it comes to career, but also relocation.
Where would you relocate?
Actually, I was thinking about visiting a friend in Germany.
Mm-hmm. Visiting?
Yeah, visiting,
Staying
but
with them? Or?
then I want to see if I can stay there or like if it's the start of me traveling around Europe for a while.
Hmm. Okay. That brings up many things for me. So one of them is Venus that is approaching your ascendant in Cancer, right? So
Hmm.
that feels like finding your home and feeling at home somewhere, right? But that's 5 years away. But maybe there's that process happening now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and visiting a friend, Venus, Moon, Cancer, and maybe staying with them and looking around and traveling. The traveling also makes me think about Mars that will conjoin your Jupiter in the 12th house Cancer, right? So going around Europe, being kind of homeless, being a nomad,
Yeah.
making home in different places. And of course, I also feel your Jupiter return and that Jupiter is about to conjoin your moon. Right. So that to me feels like, okay, now you're having a new experience in Germany and you're leaving Italy. What you said many times, actually, I remember now some of your comments were like, yeah, Italy's not too great to live in.
I hate it, but yeah.
Like, uh-huh. Yeah, and also Uranus conjunct your sun makes me think of all the shakeup that you're going through now. Okay. Okay, good. Let's pause here for today. We got quite a bit. So, what did you think about all that?
It was very cool. It was pretty cool. I liked it a lot. I hope I gave you good material. I know it was confusing a bit when it came to my father because it's an intricate situation. So I tried to be clear enough without oversharing or giving too much, you know. So I hope it was clear. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and it's cool like to see the strong influence of Mercury conjunct Saturn. Like it's very influential. It was cool to notice that because now I know, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's that.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, with the taking time to explain your story, it does take time. Like the more information we have, the more we learn about the chart, right? As you saw. So, that Mercury Saturn is in many other places in your life, like also your glasses, right? Because it's hard for you to see without glasses, right? Mercury is about obtaining information. So having to like look, that's Mercury Saturn as well. So you just it's all over all the time. Even that you speak a foreign language, primarily English, as I hear,
Yeah.
right? Okay, good. So I'm gonna stop the recording and then we'll just talk for a couple minutes and then we'll be done.
Okay.
Okay. So
Hi, everybody.
okay. To everyone that joined, thank you. And we'll see you on the next episode. All right. Julia and I are signing out. Medusa and I.